Henceforth, neither I nor Postmortem Studios will be associated with Chronicle City or Angus Abranson. I have many fond memories of Angus, staying at his home, talking with him and Dave Alsop, who was his roommate at the time, late into the night about SLA Industries and various plans and schemes of various kinds. I used to visit him when he worked at Leisure Games in London, and I have fond memories of playing opposite his characters in the Camarilla LARP Society. When we went into business together as Chronicle City, it seemed like a good idea at the time. I'd managed to secure some funding and wasn't sure how to proceed with that funding. Angus's contacts and my creativity seemed like a good combination. Unfortunately, we both fell into a deep depression at the same time, which, along with other problems, meant that the company never achieved even 1% of what it could have been before we ran out of time and money. I wish I could say that there is no ill will because of those fond memories and that long friendship, but unfortunately it has become increasingly apparent that while I've stayed true to my guiding principles and ethical standards, others, including Angus in the industry and around it, have not. This is not just about the recent blow-up around the new TSR company. I have been under sustained reputational, personal and professional assault since around 2010, with little or no support from friends and co-workers. Friends and colleagues, it seems to me, should stand up for one another when they are unfairly attacked. Even strangers should be stood up for when they are unfairly attacked. In my world, those who don't probably aren't really your friends or your colleagues. I have to be able to look at myself in the mirror without shame, and I can't do that if I compromise on my values. Those values being truth, fairness, equality, and creative freedom, amongst others. Unfortunately, much of the RPG industry and its community no longer share my values, which I always regarded as being foundational to any creative enterprise, but most especially tabletop gaming. Too many people can't even tolerate those values, at least not where they come into conflict, not with their values, but with their beliefs or things that scare them. There is a climate of fear, self-censorship, and social media expediency over truth and creativity and doing what's simply right that I cannot abide. It's hard to maintain a friendship or professional working relationship with anyone who compromises on those things that I hold most dear: the equality, the creativity, and truth. It's hard to maintain a relationship with anyone who goes along with the mob when they're so obviously wrong, even if it's just out of fear and self-preservation. The truth is, many of my relationships have been strained over the last decade, personal and professional, and I've eaten a lot of shit and forgiven a lot of personal betrayals and abuse to maintain the friendships that I had. That shit-eating and tolerance, that loyalty, too often hasn't been reciprocated. I am utterly done with being let down by people who I would have fought tooth and nail for, and often did. I am fortunate to have found more new friends and colleagues who more closely share my values and my commitment to principle, or at the very least tolerate it. This isn't to say it's not hurtful to lose old friends and colleagues, it most certainly is. Rather, it's to say that it's time to commit more to the newer friends in my life who share those principles and values even when we disagree on particulars. It's time to associate with these new friends and work partners who will defend me, who share my values. If any of those I've fallen out with in the past few years care to apologise for what they did or didn't do, and to recommit with at least some of the values that I hold dear, my door will always be open. Meanwhile, in all my endeavours, I will continue to prioritise the importance of truth, free creativity, and ethical professional conduct. Screaming mob or no screaming mob. Zang. As a postscript, here is the content of a Facebook post I put up recently, which explains my mindset around this, posted before these most recent problems. I normally hate these kinds of posts, but I'm at the end of my considerable tether. If you don't agree with me that it's wrong to lie about and smear people, whoever and whatever they are, please fuck off out of my life and never return. Truth is about as close to sacred a thing that I have in my personal philosophy. Over the past few days, I've seen people who should know better, from my own travails, if nothing else, succumb to lying and smearing people over nothing. People who, I might add, there are legitimate things to be concerned over, which are going unaddressed. I've been called names similar to those that the individuals in question have been called, equally without evidence, serious things to call people, like fascist, for example, which carries stiff social penalties and shouldn't be used lightly or without evidence. As a lifelong leftist and current left anarchist, I find both these tactics and the accusations themselves pathetic and disgusting. I feel the same way about unevidenced accusations of just about any ism or phobia you care to mention. These accusations are serious and impactful and should be treated as such, not as slings and arrows to be thrown about willy-nilly. You have to have a common ground of truth and objective reality, a common language to communicate meaningfully, and we no longer seem to have that. I cannot turn a blind eye to injustice and lies, to hypocrisy from people who claim that they're making things better, while they are engaged in making them infinitely worse. I cannot abide historical revisionism, or the forms of overt and bold bigotry that supposed anti-bigots engage in with impunity on the daily. I've seen too many friends who used to be principled individuals with whom I shared the same ideas of equality, fairness, humanism, the importance of free expression. I've seen too many of them go along with the authoritarian and anti-human excesses of one political pole or the other. And I'm just fucking done with being disappointed repeatedly that they keep giving in. I can't do that. If I see any more bigotry from any group to any group from anyone, I'm stepping away from you, for the sake of my own goddamn sanity. I hate echo chambers, but when it's friends constantly letting you down and disappointing you, it kills pieces of your heart far more than when strangers do it. Call me the bad guy all you like, lie about me all you like, God knows you have been for about a decade. I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I live it, ethically, financially, through activism and through my expression. At the end of the day, the only person that you have to be able to live with is yourself, and I can look at myself in the mirror without much cause for shame. Can you?
It's time for you boys to share my last taste of the true black meat, flesh of the giant aquatic Brazilian centipede.